What's up, friends? I am going to talk to you about 3 strategies for curbing your cravings. As I'm eating my healthier banana bread recipe, I add some chocolate chips in here, and I apologize for some of you who may not like the eating noise, but I thought this was the perfect opportunity to chat about curbing your cravings, right? So we're gonna go and dive into these 3. Okay, now that I finished my banana bread, which I'm gonna drop the recipe below in the description box so you can have it. I like share with everybody. It's my go-to recipe. I always get like discount old bananas to make this. Like the bananas I got, I think were like 50 cents, and I usually have all the ingredients. It's awesome, delicious. You'll love it. But anyways, so 3 things to help you curb cravings, because this is a thing I see my clients struggle with all of the time. Cravings are probably our number 1 setback with nutrition, right? And it's not so much how to stop the cravings, it's more so, I think, changing our mindset around our cravings and really changing the way we think about eating and dieting, okay? So the first tip is allow yourself to eat the damn thing. I just made a post on this on Instagram pretty much, and you could probably relate. So I'm gonna tell you a story. There's a girl and she's hungry and she's craving a donut, okay? So she's like, well, I don't wanna be bad though, so I'm gonna eat an apple, okay? She eats the apple. She's still hungry. Well, I'm gonna eat a yogurt. So she eats a yogurt. Then she's like, still craving that donut. I'm gonna eat almonds. So she eats the almonds. Finally, she's still hungry and wants the donut. So she gives in and she eats the donut. Well, 800 calories later, she should have just ate 300 calorie donut, right? So you see where I'm getting at? Okay. And some of you may say, oh, okay, but if I have one cookie, like one Oreo cookie, I'm gonna eat the whole container. I understand. You may notice when you first start to eat what you enjoy, you're probably gonna crave more of it because your body's thinking like, oh God, I don't know the next time I'm gonna get this, right? So expect that at first. Whether you hold yourself back or you give in a little bit, do that, because the more you do it, the more your body's gonna realize like, oh, if I want ice cream, I could just go eat it, but maybe in a reasonable amount, right? Or like I can have one donut, I don't need to eat 3 because I don't know the next time I'm gonna get it. You're just gonna have one and enjoy it, because I'm like, oh yeah, in a couple of days if I want a donut again, I can. Or, you know, I'm gonna have 3 Oreo cookies because I'm really craving it. Ooh, I want to try a new flavor. Like, I don't know about you, but the s'mores Oreo flavor is coming out soon and I want to try that, which I think I've had it before, but I want it again. But over time, it should get better because you're allowing yourselves to eat the foods that you crave, okay? So that's going to be step number 1. Step 2 that ties into step number 1 is follow the 80-20 rule. If you haven't heard of this, the 80-20 rule is that 80% of the time you are eating the whole nutrient-dense foods. And I actually did a podcast episode on this. I'll link it in the description box below, about the best diet according to science, and as of 2023 the Mediterranean diet is considered the best diet, and I agree with this. Not necessarily the Mediterranean diet specifically, but the components in the diet. So it recommends a lot of, you know, fish, lean meats, fruits and vegetables, nuts, healthy fats. These are all the things we should be eating. Pretty much the outside of the grocery aisles. The inside stuff tends to be more processed, and there's not necessarily anything wrong with processed foods. It's just that they're usually empty calories. They usually add a ton of sugar, a ton of fat, and a ton of calories to it to make it taste better. And like I said, they're empty. So you're gonna eat them and you're gonna have all these calories that you take up and you're not gonna feel satisfied. My favorite one is a Pop-Tart. I absolutely love Pop-Tarts. They're delicious, but it's like almost 400 calories for 2 of the little pastries, and I guarantee you're gonna be hungry in like 30 minutes, okay? And it's all carbs, all sugar. It's delicious, but probably not your best budget of calories and nutrients. So something to think about there. But so 80% of the time we want those whole nutrient dense foods, and then the other 20% of the time we can live our life. That's when we do include the Oreos, the cheesecake, the potato chips, things we want, alcohol, margaritas, in moderation, hence the 20% of the time, okay? And you can look at this as a day view or a week view, whatever you prefer. For instance, me, I love sweets. I grew up with a family who would just get ice cream all the time. We got ice cream if it was raining, if it was sunny, if we were happy, if we were celebrating, if we were sad. My dad, I remember he'd have his mug. My sister did this too. We had the tub of ice cream. He'd fill up the mug and he would eat it right after dinner. So like that's what we would do. So I always want something sweet after dinner. And over the years, I've kind of learned to curb that craving because I've given into it, but I allow myself dessert. I'm not telling myself no to dessert every single night. I'll usually have maybe like the Ghirardelli chocolate squares, 2 of those guys. So it's about 120 calories, but it's really rich. It's a dark chocolate. Sometimes I get the ones with the caramel in the center, so it really curbs my sweet tooth. I get Yasso bars. Those are like 150 calories for the chocolate dipped ones, and it tastes like ice cream to me. So it's the caramel sea salt one, really good. That curbs my craving. And sometimes I'll really like get like a Ben and Jerry's tub, or sometimes we'll stop at Dairy Queen or Rita's, or I'll have Girl Scout cookies or Oreos. But usually the rest of my day looks like salads and fruits and vegetables and eggs, nothing bad, okay? And even something else to help, like I said, you could see that my desserts, most of the time I'm eating a little bit better version. It's not like I'm like slamming back a whole Ben and Jerry's pint every single day and saying like, hey, that's the 80-20 rule, is finding slightly healthier alternatives for what you crave. So for instance, like I love carbonated and sweet drinks. So maybe 1 out of every 10 times I'll get myself a Diet Coke. I transitioned off of full sugar soda for sure. And I know Diet Coke's still not the best for us, but you know, there's no immediate evidence that we're like gonna die if we eat a Diet Coke or drink a Diet Coke. So I still try to limit it because I don't want to have to rely on it and be obsessed with it. So obviously I'll drink water, or like for instance, I have this drink, Swoon. It is a 0 sugar, half iced tea, half lemonade drink. It's not carbonated, but it tastes like lemon tea. And it is sweetened with monk fruit, so it's naturally sweetened, no weird chemicals or anything like that. 5 calories, 1 carb and 0 sugar. So I love that. So that's something that can kind of curb my sweet tooth. I will drink Poppy, which is also great, all natural. It has the orange soda is like amazing because it curbs my orange soda flavor or craving, and it tastes like an orange monster, so that's always a plus. I also have, like, as a girl, we need like 100 drinks, right? In here you probably can't tell, but I use True Lemon, so I use the raspberry lemonade. I've tried the other flavors. Raspberry lemonade's where it's at. So it's just crystallized lemon, same thing, naturally sweetened. 5 calories, and I just chug on this too. So like anytime I want that sweet craving, I have a healthier option to kind of counterbalance it. And 9 times out of 10, I don't really want the sugary junk food thing. And I'm telling you, once you tend to eat healthier for a while, you'll notice a huge difference in what you taste as good and bad. Like if I went back and drank like full sugar Coke, I'd be like, wow, this is really strong. Or if you're eating healthy and then you go eat McDonald's, you're gonna be like, ooh, this doesn't taste as good as I remember, right? Because fun little scientific fact, it takes 2 to 3 weeks for our taste buds to fall off and regrow, apparently. And that kind of changes our taste. So that's why usually when you switch a new diet and you're kind of doing things might taste nasty for a couple of weeks, but then once you get past that initial 2-3 weeks, you're like, oh, this isn't so bad. So give yourself some time next time that you kind of try to switch around your diet, because you're going to fight it for a little bit because those taste buds are used to all the sugar and carbs and fats and amazing things as we transition to healthy stuff. And you will like healthy stuff, I promise you, if you give it time, okay? So that's number 2. The last thing is a little bit more of a detective work on your end, but it's to get to the root cause of your craving. So just like anything, I like to get to the root cause, because if you really don't get to the root cause, you're just slapping a band-aid on the issue and you're not really solving it. So that could set you up for maybe you can fight this craving for a couple weeks, and then one day, you know, when it gets really bad, you're gonna get back in again and you're just gonna start at step 1. So it's better that we tackle this at the root and get down to the reason why we have this craving. And there's so many reasons that we can have cravings. It could be something like, for me, my ice cream, this is general emotional, but if we take it a step further, it's emotional, but it's almost like a learned habit. As I was growing up, I associated, you know, that ice cream with a family connection, a fun connection. This is something that my family does. So it's a deeper connection, and even sometimes just knowing that connection makes it a little bit easier for it to tackle of like, oh, I'm not craving ice cream because I like need ice cream or want ice cream. I'm craving it because it's kind of like a learned habit. So it makes it, like I said, easier to tackle. So sometimes it's emotional, sometimes it's stress, sometimes it's lack of sleep because that messes with our hormones. Sometimes we're tired, sometimes we're bored. Late night snacking is a little tricky one. Sometimes it could just be because we eat dinner too early and we're staying up late. Like if you eat dinner at 5 and you're staying up till 10, that's 5 hours without eating. You should probably plan to have another little snack at the end of the night, maybe around 7:30, so you're not going to bed starving. And that's okay as long as it's a planned, healthier snack, right? So there's actually a lot of reasons that could be the root. And this is something that we actually really uncover a lot in my nutrition coaching. So if this is something that you want to explore a little bit further and you're ready to take those next steps, I'm going to drop the link to apply for my nutrition coaching in the description box. I'm very transparent. There's pricing in there for you in the application. It's just to see if we're a good fit. But yeah, I think that is all I got for you today. I hope you learned something. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and be sure to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Until next time, guys, Tina Wyland Fitness is out.